Alright, hello everyone. Here we are back for another Golf Clash tutorial here. This is going to be part 7 of this Road to Glory, the free-to-play account. And let's just take a look at kind of where I am. I've been kind of sitting on this a little bit. I was able to get the extra mile in the shop. I unlocked all these chests. I was able to get a few upgrades, but you can also see that I had to utilize some of my gems. You can see I'm down below 90. So I'm going to have to be a little bit careful and start to slow down my play here. But I'd like to go ahead and, potentially finish toward 4 here. What would be ideal. So the bump up to the extra mile 4 is a pretty significant one. It lets you really get some extra length. Here you can see, wow, extremely outmatched in terms of games. So 10,000 games in. I'm fortunate that they only have an extra mile 5, to be honest with you. Looks like they're using the basic ball a little bit shorter than you want to tee it off. So I'm going to try to go a little bit more. And here, as you can see, I got a little bit more top spin. Should have a little bit more curl as well than I used to have. So you'll see kind of what I'm doing with the aim. Not going to do too much power. I'd like to use just enough to kind of make sure that I'm safe. But if I can get it up here a little bit farther than my opponent, it does create just a tiny bit better angle. You can see I don't have to quite cut as close to the rough, especially with no side spin. So here you'll see, might have to aim kind of right in here, very, very close to the rough. Another option, I guess, is the rough bump. A little bit tough to do with early clubs. You don't have a lot of ball guide here. Got to protect against the great ball right here as well. And it looks like it's actually going to hold up and actually get caught in the rough there. So let's take a look at this one, see if I can't maybe get this one to drop. You can see I'm very close to max club. Thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of... So you can see with where I'm aiming, I gotta kind of predict bounces 3 and 4, and the rollout, I'm gonna play pretty close to 2.3-ish per ring, somewhere almost 2 rings. So you can see with where I'm aiming. A little bit early on that timing. Very, very slow moving needle. Looks like it was probably going to be coming in too fast anyway. You can see without me using the backspin. There is a little bit of an upslope there, so I did want to just be a little bit careful. So I did end up hitting it just a little bit too hard there. There's been times that, I've came up just a little bit short on that pitch. So that's one of the main reasons I didn't touch the spin. You can see a pretty substantial short hit here. Looks like it's just going to lip out. So, ideally I'd like to avoid the shootout. As you can see, definitely outmatched on my opponent, especially with clubs and levels and all that. So avoiding the shootout is ideal. So if they make mistakes early on, best for you to just kind of move on, hopefully, and try to get through the match. I'm also going to have a silver chest here, which unlocks. I go ahead and just start that, and let's just keep going here. Try to finish out this tour if I can. So 14 times 3 is going to be 42 trophies. So 3 more wins is the magic number. If I can win the next 3 games, I will have this tour closed and have to be looking at tour 5 next. So especially with this hole. I'm not going to use my spin. It looks like I can relatively go max here. So it's probably something, you know, that I probably want to do. I am going to just probably use this marlin, to be honest with you. Since it is a headwind, I'd like to, one, have some side spin, but I'd also like to, you know, kind of be able to blast this as well. And fortunate enough to be able to get the perfect ball. Should help me with just a little bit extra length. Since it's a headwind, you know, I wanted to make sure that I'm well up here into this other side. If I use a basic ball, it might just make things just a little bit tougher. Also help me with the hole out here. Other thing that you can do is play your opponent. See my opponent again, 8,000 games. They have a crazy extra mile, which is better than me. They're going to be using the same ball. So again, you know, same kind of thing applies. It's going to be tough to beat this guy. So you do got to just, you know, play within your means and try to do what you can. Because I need to make sure that I can get to the green in 3. And with that slice, that, oh, so it is actually going to hold on. Let's see if it, yep, it just rolls up there too. So no top spin here, unfortunately. As you can see, it's potentially going to make things hard here. You know, another thing that I can do is just kind of lay up here. Kind of hit it right around here with plenty of curl. So even with that great ball, I would expect that it's probably going to hold on. Looks pretty good there. Now this is going to create just a little bit more range. It's going to be it's going to make this a lot harder of a hole with me not being able to get up here. So it is quite significant when you have to kind of lay up. Is my opponent playing on the PC? A very, very weird camera angle. So if we get a wood shootout, I'm going to have the advantage. It's very hard to hit perfect ball with the, let's see, looks like he's not able to run it up there. So that could be the difference between not being able to get to the green. It might make things a little bit closer. So that's one of the main reasons that I didn't do that. You can see right on the min club line here. It's going to be, the toughest thing about this shot is going to be making sure that I stop it, because you can see that I probably won't have the most spin here. So I'm just going to try to just trickle it if I can, but it looks like it's going to trickle down through. Let's see if I can get it to just stop on the fringe here. Nope. So as I mentioned, you know, I kind of was worried about that. The only other thing I could have done is maybe some kind of rough bump there on this surface right here. It looks like my opponent is going to be able to just get to the green. But again, the same complications. To actually get it up on that green and actually hold the green may not be the easiest thing. But he does have a machete 9. So may require perfect ball here, or close to perfect ball anyway. So let's see if this trickles up on or not. It may fall back down, and sure enough, there it is, down into the rough. Again, you know, this is just going to be kind of a complicated hole. And with this shot, you know, more than anything, it's just going to kind of come down to perfect ball. I'm just going to, since we have machete on here, just going to go for the perfect ball dunk here. So you can see I'm just putting the ball guide into the hole here, making sure that I don't overpower this and just try to be very centered here. Oh, I didn't catch it. So let's see if I can get it to hold up. Looks like I did. But I may end up losing with that stroke that I gave up. With that being said, though, this pitch is still very, very challenging. So typically this requires perfect ball when you do this, just as mine did. And there you can see, good ball, it's going to slide by, and we're going to be forced to go to shootout. And I've been able to get the perfect, to give me a good chance there. And we're going to have to go to shootout. You know, as opposed to what I did there for that shot, maybe just a little bit better to maybe go for the rough bump. Just something for me to think about for the next time coming through this hole. As you can see, that mistake could have been costly for me. I almost didn't make the shootout. Very tricky hole to get a birdie early on. So, and this is a very, very challenging shootout hole. So what I'll typically do is I'll do a bump, a rough bump here with the Goliath. It's kind of my ideal way to play this. Other than that, just kind of play my opponent a little bit. So you can see what they're doing with the guide and how they're setting up. So I can just kind of use his shot to hopefully help my shot. If I can see where he misses, I can just try to, you know, essentially just kind of tweak things just a little bit. It looks like he actually got it to fall. So may have slid off the green otherwise. So very fortunate there. But he didn't touch the spin at all. Oh, it looks like I can't even get to that spot. So with him making it, it's going to make things very, very challenging for me. So might as well just kind of go for this. So you can see just playing very, very minimal wind here. Perfect ball. And it makes sense to, you know, just try to go for it, especially since I could see what happened with my opponent. I wouldn't have played that shot otherwise. I would have just played some kind of bump up there. But sure enough, there you can see. And I'm going to have to continue to grind because of losing to a hole-in-one. So negative progress there. Just the breaks sometimes. So how many? So now I'm 46 trophies. Hopefully I start getting some easier opponents. You know, one of the reasons they might have been stacking me up that hard was because of, you know, how many games I won. Here you can see much, you know, much less. The last two opponents that they gave me had almost 20,000 games in, the two of them. 20,000 games in combined. So I'm going to play hook shot again. You can see with where I'm aiming, there's 5 rings. I'm going to go at least another 2 to 3. So right in here. And just perfect ball slice this. Drive the ball 350. You can already see that I unlocked that achievement, which means that this has to be going down the fairway somewhere. So it looks like we're going to get to the shootout. Hopefully they give us the Vineyard Acres where you need to hit a wood, because there's no way I would probably lose to a big dog. So, you know, in the early going, those are the type of things that you want to be thinking about. And just trying to curl this into the green here. And it looks like it's not going to fall off the slope, so I'll have to do this same pitch that you guys saw me do. So let's see what we can get in terms of the shootout. Hopefully we get a little bit more luck than last time. As you can see, my opponent had the range. They got an easy wind on that last shootout. And, you know, basically, for whatever reason, the wind didn't even play for him. He just put the ball guide in the hole and it didn't even move. And I play the wind and takes off like crazy. But you can see, you know, even with the great ball, we're going to be able to have enough precision to pull this in. That's one of the biggest reasons to go for the dunk there, just to avoid any wrongdoing that could happen. So this is an iron shot, which is going to, you know, help my opponent out, but you can see he has Goliath as well. Using Goliath can be costly, because the fact that you can't, you know, if you miss your perfect ball, you essentially, you know, you're not even close. So that's one of the main reasons that I don't use the Goliath early on. And you can see my opponent gets it to 2-some yards, basically did like a short hit. I should be able to beat that. I usually don't use much spin here in terms of backspin. So just a little bit of spin here. Perfect ball. Oh, so just missed it, but you can see well in there close. So we'll have to keep grinding here. So we're 32 trophies, which means we'll need 3 more wins. Hopefully I can get them back to back to back. Milano Hole 3. This is the hole just when I'm more than anything, just try to concentrate on the fairway. We did get a tailwind here. Maybe a good time to Just kind of lay up here, see what my opponent does. 4,000 games. I mean, come on. How do I keep getting these guys? So there you can see a blocked, and you just don't have the accuracy to do this early on. So it's very costly when you try to force the issue. So that's why, you guys have seen me doing this hole. I'm very strategic with the way that I play. Maybe very, very little spin here. Probably won't even use any. More so than anything, I'm just going to try to land in the fairway foremost, and maybe just curl it more than anything to try to kind of get this into the center of the fairway here. So not trying to force the issue, just trying to make sure that we are relatively centered. Doesn't need to be down here very, very far. We just need enough distance to be able to get to the hole. And about 300 is about right at that threshold that, I should be able to cruise this to the hole. And that's all you want for this one, is just to be able to get there. I don't like to challenge that neck. It's a little bit easier once you have some ball guide too. Because I can play it a little bit more aggressive. When I get a tailwind like that, I really didn't know what I needed to do. But you can see, all I'm going to do is play it out to the left like you've been seeing me do. Thinking somewhere around here with the backspin. It's right around 2 bars here. And just aim over here to the left intentionally and curl it back. So just rolls by. We're able to avoid the shootout, which is best. As you've already seen in this stream, what can go wrong on the shootout. Opponent gets easy wind, able to roll it in. So it's best, especially when you're out clubbed and, your opponent has 5,000 games and you have 50. Anytime that you can take advantage of the situation, that's what you'll want. So 2 more games to close this tour out. See if I can't get it. It's a little unfortunate that I lost that one, because I think that would have been, if I would have won that one, I would have been done. So now I got to do all this extra. So it's so important early on that you just try to take advantage of as most opportunities as you can. Because now I'm 2 wins away from the exact same spot. But this is a little bit more fair. So they finally gave me somebody that actually is a new count. So not bad. We'll have to see what they have. They have Big Dog. It's good for me. Just going to go ahead, use right around 2 backspin. No top spin. Did get a great ball. Shouldn't matter too much. A relatively big fairway here. Let's see if it holds. Oh man, it just rolls into the rough. So now I got to really think about how to do this. It's a lot tougher to get when you make that mistake. A lot tougher. Seriously, I can't even with people. They just can't. They can't be respectful in any way. So we're still going to have a chance here. I'm just going to have to, try to put a 4 together. It's not going to be easy by any means. However, as you can see, I'll be able to get it up to this other fairway. So if I can get it up into that fairway, it's going to give me at least a chance here. I did get a hook. Let's see if it holds. Looks good. Now this is going to be the hard one because I don't have the curl yet. So chances are, I'm going to have to hole out from the fairway. But there's a decent chance that my opponent's going to have, a difficult time as well. So here you can see my opponent by the fringe. That's no gimme right there. It really, early on, you need to hit your perfects. It's very, very important that you're hitting your perfects. So what I'm going to try to do is probably some kind of hook shot. So in terms of where I want this to land, I'm thinking, at least a full target from here, minimum. So I'm thinking somewhere over here. So here you can see bending it around, getting it into the fairway, and giving myself a chance to be able to make the 4 here. And at the same time, there's a decent chance that I could still win too. So good chance here that if I'm able to roll this in, I'll probably just need perfect ball more so than anything. Let's just size it up though, kind of see where we are. There's a couple different ways that I can play this. I can go for the dunk. This may not be the greatest candidate to go for the dunk because you can see that the ball guide is kind of limited, and typically when it's or it's very, very straight. When the ball guide's straight, I do like to just kind of play it at the hole, maybe try to get this third hop right into the hole. So you can see with what I'm doing with my aim, trying to get it very, very centered here. Perfect ball. And third hop right on the hole. I'm able to still get my birdie even with the errant tee shot. So that's, more so than anything, what you want is just to kind of hang in and never just give up on a hole just because you make a mistake. You can pull it back at any given time, as you can see. Opponent in the fairway, I'm in the rough. We don't even go to tiebreaker. So let's keep going here. We need one more. As you can see, we're 4 trophies short. Being 4 trophies short, I think that means that I'll be able to, if I was to, eventually you're going to gain more trophies than you lose. So you can see that even though that I'm kind of down on the trophies, I should be able to get back up eventually, because even winning 50% of your games, you're going to earn more trophies. So if I was to win one, lose one, you're still going to be going up in trophies. So I might try to do a hook shot here just to get a little bit of extra momentum. I may need it. Especially if I'm not going to go for power here. So I'd like to land right around there, That's typically about 5 rings, 8 rings, somewhere in here. Around 8 rings here. This might be a little bit heavy. It might be 1 ring too much. Let's just see how it works out. Ha ha ha. Sure enough, it stays in the rough. You know, I figured it was going to be very, very challenging to get over there with my early clubs, and that's one of the reasons that I tried to just beat it down there. See, my opponent has to essentially lay up, so we're kind of in the same boat here. It almost turns into a 5-shot hole. Now, if I would have just clipped the fairway there, I would have been able to maybe put myself in a good position to still play for eagle. But I would imagine, you know, my opponent's going to be in the same predicament that I'm in here. So when the hole gets hard like this, the biggest thing that you'll want is to just try to make sure that you don't turn 5 into 6. That's the biggest. So I'm going to kind of go over this way. Just try to blast this down as far as I can. Try to be somewhat on the bullseye. And again, just don't turn your 5 into 6 is the biggest key. So you don't want to go from bunker to not in the fairway here. So you don't want to force the issue too much. So we'll see where my opponent can get it up to. From there, I'll be able to get it up significantly. You know, I can potentially put it up there very, very close. Very, very close. And what I'd rather do is just kind of jam it. So you can see that I'm just kind of going for power more than anything. I don't care if it winds up in the rough. I do have my machete on. So I'm just trying to get it up here as close as possible. I can potentially go for a dunk here. And that's one of the main reasons that I like to get it as far as possible. So the biggest thing here is just making sure that you get it in this fairway. So perfect ball will be somewhat important. So let's see how they do. Looks like they're going relatively powerful. And great ball well over to the side. As I mentioned, you know, it does need to just stay in the fairway. So there you can see they do get in the fairway. That should be good enough to secure. But I may still be able to win this sucker too. So what I'll typically do here is just go for it. Early on the timing. So it is going to roll down the hill. Hopefully this time I can get it to just hold up on this fringe here. The more my machete gets up there, you know, I can hold that green and still have a putt, which is good. So let's see if this hops up there. Looks like it's on the fringe. That should be good. A couple different ways I can do this one. Again, I can go for the dunk, which I probably would be prone to doing here. You can see that the precision here is a little bit tighter. So with that being said, I'm going to either play for early timing or perfect ball. So you can see perfect ball is going to sneak in the left. Great ball right is going to sneak in the right of the cup. So here we go into the shootout. You can see into these headwinds, par is going to be pretty much the score. I mean, you can get birdie. It's going to really be really challenging. And this is a very, very good hole for me. It should hopefully solidify me the win, because I don't believe Big Dog will be able to stop it. So biggest thing for me is just going to be not making a mistake here. So right on the very front of that fairway, just kind of roll it up here. A little bit too much curl, but overall that's a pretty good shot. 3.83 is going to be almost impossible for Big Dog to win. You really got to have a more upgraded Big Dog. So here it should shoot through. Must be a little bit too deep. Comes down to essentially backspin, which the Big Dog doesn't have. So there you can see we maxed Tour 4. Unfortunately, you know, we had to go up against a hard hole, and we weren't able to take care of business on the Tour hole. Went into a shootout and lost to an ace. So, you know, with that in mind, something that you'll need to be thinking about. You see, we got back up over 100 trophies here, or 100 gems. Let's see what we have in terms of Tour 5. This is going to be a very, very tough... Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to think of what I wanted to do here. You'd see my coin balance is a little tight. You know, I can only play three matches, lose 3 matches right now, which is a little bit too tight for what I want. So what I would ideally do here is I'd like to just kind of go into the tournament, kind of hopefully build up a little bit of bag, start to get a little bit of ball inventory, and maybe, you know, in the situations where we absolutely need some distance and it can be the difference between winning and losing, be able to hopefully be able to afford to use those balls that we earn from the tournament, some of them. So, you know, that's kind of the strategy that I'm thinking of. I would like to get 2 more to get that pin chest unlocked. However, I might just wait it out. It's very, very tough. At the very least, you know, maybe just wait a couple days, or at least a day, until all these chests clear out. So that way, at least if I do go into Tour 5, I can at least start to work on Tour 5 chests in addition. But let's just kind of show you where we're at. We're at this 44 out of 47 here. So, you know, still moving along here. Unfortunately, you know, we did have that loot loss today, but we'll try to recover from that. And, you know, good luck with your guys' progress. As you can see, we're right ready to move on to Tour 5. And I look forward to being able to showing you guys in the next parts, probably the tournament, or maybe a couple Tour 5 games. We'll just see how this weekend goes. So good luck out there. Let me know how it goes, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.